Unit 16, angles in plumbing. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about are complementary angles. The definition of complementary angles is that when they're added together, they equal 90 degrees. So for example, let's look at a 90-degree angle. 90-degree angle. And I'm going to use two separate colors here. Let's say we have blue, which makes up this portion of the angle. So here's blue, makes up this portion of the angle. And then let's look at red and say red makes up this portion of the angle. These two angles would be complementary because together they make 90 degrees. So for example, I could say this first angle is 60 degrees, which would mean this second angle would have to be 30 degrees. So the easiest way to find a complementary angle is by taking 90 degrees and subtracting whatever your fitting angle is, and the leftover would be the complementary angle. So for example, let's say that you have a fitting angle that is 70 degrees, and we want to know what is its complementary angle. So what we would do is we know the total is 90 degrees, and so we would subtract off the fitting angle, which is 70 degrees, and we get 20 degrees. So our fitting angle, our complementary angle would be 20 degrees. Okay, another example. Let's say that your fitting angle is 22 degrees, and you want to know what's the complementary angle. Well, 90 subtract 22 is going to give us 68 degrees. And that's because a 22 and a 68 added together would make 90. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is bend. So if a pipe has bend, being able to figure out what is that bend. The most common bends that we use are like an 1/8 bend, a 1/6 bend. And to kind of show you what would happen here, a 4th bend excuse me, a 4th bend would look like this. It's a 90-degree angle. A 6th bend would look more like this because it is a 60-degree angle. Let's talk about how you figure out what a bend is in terms of an angle. So suppose we have a circle, and we know that this circle has 360 degrees. And that's because it takes 360 degrees to do a full rotation. Now, if I separated this circle into smaller portions, so for example, if I cut it straight in half, I now have a left side and a right side, which means each piece would be 180 degrees, and that's why the straight line is a 180-degree angle. Let's say I divide it into 4 sections now. You'll notice of these 4 sections, you are creating right angles, which are 90s. So a 4th bend creates 90-degree angles. Okay, what if I divided each of these up again? Now we have 8 pieces. And if you look specifically in this corner, right here, you've taken a 90-degree angle and divided it into 2 parts. Half of 90 degrees is a 45. So if we take an 8th bend, which is dividing a circle into 8 sections, you end up with a 45-degree angle. How do we calculate bends? Bends are not hard to calculate. What you do is you take your fitting angle and you'd have it divided by 360. So let's say my fitting angle is 60 degrees and I want to know what is the bend. So what I do, there's 360 degrees total divided by 60 degrees, and I'm just going to type this in my calculator, and this equals 6. So that means that my circle has been divided into 6 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so it would be a 1/6 bend. Let's try another one. Let's say that my fitting angle is 45 degrees. So I would take the total, 360 degrees, divided by 45 degrees. This gives me 8, which means that 45 degrees is an 1/8 bend.